My name is Nick Ficarello. I am running for the office of Sheriff of Will County. The office of Sheriff of Will County election is up first with the primary in March of 2014 and the general election in November of 2014. I am here today with Julia Alexander, who's going to interview me and ask me some questions so she can be informed. I am looking forward to this interview and I hope I have your support.
Hi, I'm Julia Alexander. I'm here with the segment of Be Informed. I am in the process of interviewing a series of candidates that's running for office. I happen to have with me Mr. Nick Ficarello. He's running for sheriff on the Republican ticket. Hi, Nick. How are you?
Good, Julia. How are you?
Okay, good. Thank you so much, Nick, for doing the interview with me. And God bless you on your trail to becoming the next Will County Sheriff.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, you're welcome. Well, Nick, let's go into talking about a little bit about why did you decide to run?
Well, I decided to run because I feel that the people of Will County need some new leadership at the Sheriff's Department. I believe that the people of Will County need someone who has the experience and the knowledge of working in every aspect of the Sheriff's Department, and who also has a platform to make Will County a safer place to live, work, and also raise a family. I believe I'm that candidate.
Okay, all right, and I was going to ask you, and what makes you believe that you're that candidate? What do you bring to the table?
Well, I bring to the table my character, I bring to the table my leadership, my 31 and a half years working at the Sheriff's Department, working my way up through the ranks to achieve the rank of Deputy Chief. I believe I have the knowledge it takes to maintain and be the sheriff, and that I have worked in every aspect of the Sheriff's Department or supervised every aspect of the Sheriff's Department. I believe I have a platform that can accomplish that. I believe that I have an educational background, a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I'm a graduate of the FBI National Academy in Quantico, Virginia. I'm a graduate of the FBI Law Enforcement Executive Development course, and I am halfway through my master's degree. I believe I could take all of this knowledge that I have gained and use it to benefit the citizens of Will County.
Not only knowledge, but experience too, because you say you have what, 31 years?
31 and a half years.
31 and a half years, and then the academic background as well. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about your platforms. Tell me about that.
Well, currently at the Sheriff's Department, there are no K-9 units that are working patrol. I believe that there is an increasing drug problem in Will County. In 2012, there were 58 heroin-related deaths. In 2009, there were 29 related heroin deaths. I believe that drug abuse is an increasing problem in Will County. I believe that K-9s and K-9 drug interdiction stops can help alleviate some of that problem. I also believe that we currently have at the Sheriff's Department only one individual assigned to a joint drug task force. I would like to increase that amount from one to a few more. We do have a Will County gang suppression unit. The gang suppression unit does a very good job at what they do, but I think that the key to drug interdiction and combating drug abuse is cooperation between various drug enforcement units. Second platform I have is that currently at Will County and throughout Will County, if you call the police, the closest squad does not always respond. This is due to a lack of interoperability in our radio systems. In Chicago, if there is a crime in progress, the closest squad responds. That squad could be a railroad police squad. That squad could be a squad from a university that happens to be in Chicago. But the closest squad to the in-progress crime hears and responds to the call. We currently do not have a radio system throughout Will County that allows the police to communicate with each other during in-progress crime. Think of this.
Yeah.
If there is a school shooting, don't you want the closest police officer
Absolutely.
to respond?
Absolutely.
There might be a state police officer 2 blocks away from a high school where a active shooter is, but he is unaware of what's going on because he does not share the same in-progress radio frequency.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. So apparently they're not on the same frequency.
Not all, not totally.
Okay.
And I would like to fix that problem.
Okay, good.
The other instance, one other platform that I believe would benefit the citizens of Will County is for the sheriff's unit to start up with the existing detectives a special victims unit. This special victims unit would handle all investigations pertaining to sexual abuse, rapes, juvenile sexual abuse, domestic violence, crimes against the elderly, and crimes against special needs victims. Currently, the Sheriff's Department assigns these crimes to general assignment detectives. They do the best they can, and most frequently they're very successful. But I believe that the people of Will County deserve a specialized unit to handle these types of crimes. Another platform that I just recently have developed is an inmate worker program. This would provide some alternative sentencing for nonviolent offenders to actually perform tasks for government entities and also charitable 501(c)(3)s. The Sheriff's Department currently has a form of this, but at a very limited, small scale. I believe in expanding this and working with the judiciary in an attempt to find some alternative sentencing which will A, help keep the incarceration rate down at the jail, and B, save the taxpayers money by not housing these individuals for prolonged periods. In other words, if someone who is a nonviolent offender is sentenced to this program, his sentence would be reduced because he is actually out doing work for either 501(c)(3)s or for other governmental entities. This could be as simple as washing and waxing squads. It could be as simple as walking down Will County highways picking up trash, or possibly repainting a charitable office.
So that's something like community service work.
Community service work, only for nonviolent offenders, such as traffic offenders or offenders who have been deemed to be nonviolent. Maybe a simple theft, or maybe a first-time offense of a simple theft.
Okay, great. Well, I had spoken with you before, Nick, and we talked a little bit about what will you do on the first 100 days. And you made a statement that you would acclimate yourself. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, in my first 100 days at the Sheriff's Department, I believe in getting to work early. So I'm sure I'll be there between 7:30 and 8 o'clock every day. And the first week, I'm going to do my best to acclimate myself to as much as I can in the first week of the sheriff's responsibility. After that first week, I will still arrive at work between 7:30 and 8 a.m. And however, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I will either put on a correctional deputy's uniform or a Will County Sheriff's Police enforcement uniform.
I like that.
With no insignia.
Yeah.
And go to either the jail, the adult detention facility, or out to the patrol division and go through a field training program. And I will continue through this field training program until I become aware and have a working knowledge of what the officers on the street or the officers in the jail put up with and handle every day. It's kind of like looking at a different angle from my previous job as a deputy chief. I'm now going to look at it from the bottom up. And I plan on continuing to do this until I have a very good working knowledge and seeing what the guys on the street and the guys at the jail are dealing with the public every day.
And I think that's good because, as you stated before, you've not been on the street in a while.
Yes, I've done these jobs before,
right.
but it has been a while.
And so to get back out there and to see and refresh
yes.
what these guys are going through.
I had, after retirement, went back to work at a community called Posen, Illinois, to reacclimate myself to the patrol function.
Okay.
However, Posen is not quite Will County, and Will County is not quite Posen.
Right.
And I believe that I need to reacclimate myself to the environs of Will County and how we do things in Will County.
Oh, and I think that's perfect. Okay, let's talk a little bit about some of the issues that has come up in the Will County area. And one of them is the drugs that has come up. Now, I do understand that there was some drugs that was actually taken from Will County, but some was returned. So can you talk a little bit about that?
To the best of my knowledge, there were 3 kilos of heroin, along with some other items that were taken from an outside storage evidence locker on Will County Sheriff's Police property. This happened through a burglary of that storage facility.
Okay.
The heroin, I believe, was reported to be 92 or 93% pure, very strong heroin. While I was there, myself and my CSI Sergeant, Rich Kowalski, had standing orders that no hard drugs and no weapons of any type were to be stored in outside storage facilities. Unfortunately, after I left the department, Sergeant Kowalski was transferred, and for some reason that policy was not followed, and the 3 kilos of heroin were placed in an outside storage locker and ultimately stolen. Some of the heroin was recovered, but from what I was told, the original criminal who was charged with the possession of heroin had to be released. So we have another tragedy that a major heroin dealer was released without being charged. I don't know if he's been re-indicted or not, but I think some of the heroin's been recovered. But originally I was told that the original criminal who was in possession of the heroin was released.
Okay, all right, good. Okay, there's one more thing. Let's talk a little bit about the Riley Fox case.
Yes.
Tell me, what do you know about that case?
Well, the Riley Fox case was a case involving the murder of a 3-year-old little girl from Wilmington, Illinois.
Okay.
That case was a real eye-opener for everyone involved.
Okay.
The Will County Sheriff's Police, the Will County State's Attorney's Office, the State Police, the FBI, and the Wilmington Police. There was an indictment issued initially on the case. Approximately 10 months after the indictment was issued and the arrest was made, exculpatory evidence was found in the form of DNA evidence that proved Kevin Fox was innocent. Kevin Fox was immediately released. The evidence that was found by a private lab in the form of DNA evidence. Previously, the law enforcement labs did not find this evidence. After this happened, and I knew that there was a problem and a mistake had been made, I wanted to take steps to correct this. I sat down with my CSI sergeant, who happened at that time to be Rich Kowalski, and we tried to come up with some ways to make sure that this would never happen again. Some positive steps so that this would never happen again and an innocent man be charged. We first sought out an idea to have a crime lab similar to DuPage Sheriff's Crime Lab. This proved to be too costly. We then researched and analyzed and came up with a private lab that deals exclusively with the police out of Vernon Hills, Illinois, called the Northern Illinois Crime Lab. We entered into contract negotiations with the Northern Illinois Crime Lab and into contract negotiations with the Will County Board. Both the Will County Board, the Sheriff's Department, or all three, the Will County Board, the Sheriff's Department, and the Northern Illinois Crime Lab came up with an agreement. And currently the Sheriff's Office uses the Northern Illinois Crime Lab. We now have DNA, full DNA evidence back on every homicide between 4 to 5 days after the fact. I believe that the police, no matter what the situation, should always try to find the truth in these matters, whether it proves innocence or guilt. That is our main goal. But if there is definitely exculpatory evidence that proves innocence, that should release the individual immediately. Those are steps that we should take.
All right, so when you become the Will County Sheriff, what further steps will you take to make sure that nothing like this ever happens again?
Well, there are classes that are available that I believe that our detectives and investigators can attend. That could make them aware of certain types of false evidence. That could also help alleviate this problem and protect the innocent.
Okay, absolutely.
Our job is not just to arrest the guilty, but our job is also to protect the innocent.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that is so true. Now, you also, I talked with you a little bit, and you also talked about what a leader is. So, can you tell the audience because I really like that statement and that comment, and I pondered over it for a little while, and I found it to be very true.
Well, my definition of a leader is one who motivates people to perform a task or a goal. It also encompasses the fact that a leader should always try to do the right thing. My definition of a manager is one who does the right thing right and who has the capability of managing the resources he has to his fullest extent or her fullest extent to get the job done.
Okay. Well, Nick, is there anything else that you would like the listening audience to know?
Well, I believe that the Sheriff's Department needs to move in the direction of to serve and protect.
Okay.
And I hate to use quotes around that, it sounds antiquated, but that's where I believe we need to move.
Well, you did say at one time that that's what was missing on the cars.
That is missing on squad cars. I believe that that needs to be returned to squad cars so that the public knows we're there to serve and protect.
Okay.
I also would like, under my leadership, Will County Sheriff's Police to be recognized as the toughest law enforcement agency on gangs, drugs, and violent crimes.
Okay, great. So once again, thank you so much, Nick, for doing the interview with me. God bless you on your trial once more to becoming the Will County Sheriff. And just remember, go vote. It is your right. It is your privilege. Am I not right?
Thank you, Julie, and God bless you too.
And God bless you.
My name is Nick Ficarello.